I know I look rough right now. Bear with me because today it's so cold out there and I just came back from China yesterday, or I should say today, because I arrived 1 in the morning. So I'm definitely looking rough. And yeah, because it's so cold, I'm having this on my shoulder. Tell me why Japan or Tokyo is colder than my hometown. My hometown is actually like 8 degrees lower, but today let's try random stuff from Asian makeup brands. So let's just get started without talking too much. First thing first, this Shiseido Revitalessence Skin Glow Foundation. I actually did a video on this foundation month ago and I really loved it. In that video I was trying a sample and the sample is now my shade, and because I really loved it, I decided to buy a full size that's actually in my shade. For my light medium olive skin tone, I bought the shade 250 Sand. Why does this look so light? On the back of my hand it definitely looked darker. Maybe just because I'm so tired and my face is, you know, looking a little bit lack of life. This is so big, such a big puff. Maybe this way is better. Yeah, why does it look like it's lighter? But it's not too bad. It still looks okay. Maybe it's because of this formula it looks lighter. I don't know why. Once I came back, I noticed that Tokyo is like very dry right now. So my skin is on the drier side, and my hair even is frizzy, as you can see. My hair is like pretty oily and it normally never gets frizzy, but now it is. This is looking pretty. Like my face instantly look like I'm like very well hydrated. I actually have another base product, which is a concealer and B. This is a Japanese brand if you don't know. This is pretty much a high-end brand. I rarely see it has a counter, an actual legit separated counter in a department store. It never does. It's like in those stuff like Sephora. It's not Sephora, but you know, the shops like Sephora where it has a lot of brands. It usually sells in stores like that, and the price is low-key high-end. This one is, I think it's a little bit over 4K yen, which is 20-something dollars. And by the way, this is a concealer. It's the B founcealer. I think you know what they are trying to say. Foundation and concealer combined, founcealer. And this is in the shade beige and orange. Each shade is 2 grams. So I feel like for a concealer palette, 4 grams is like plenty of product. And I bought this because Chinese influencer has been pushing this for, not pushing, I think she just generally likes it. She rarely does like PR, so she said this is very creamy and easy to blend and has good coverage. So I bought this and thinking I could use this both as concealer and foundation. Is very creamy. And this is the orange shade. Looks like a great shade. The beige color looks very close to my skin tone. This thing is falling off. What about this? I look like a dog, but I think this is way more secure than the other one. Do I really use this orange shade? And if I do, where do I use it? Maybe I could use some around my mouth. I'll have some discoloration here. I think everybody has a little bit like darkness around the mouth area. A lot of foundation concealers look pretty cakey around my mouth, and this one is not doing that. And let's use a little bit of this beige shade maybe around my nose. This brush is pretty nice. Was hoping that they do have, oh they do. I was saying I hope they would have a sponge applicator at the other side, and they do. I just didn't see it. The little pointy sponge applicator is good for spot concealing. Don't know why I've been breaking out pretty badly recent month taking this beige shade. I think for this palette I mainly am just gonna use the beige shade, and you just stamp that on. I can't take myself seriously with this appearance. I feel like usually people if someone is taking their YouTube channel seriously, they would normally wear something that they would wear outside, you know, the outside clothes. But I feel like I'm always wearing very like crusty indoor PJs because I just couldn't bother to change to outside clothes to film. The base is looking really nice today. I hope they do like singles because I don't really use orange colors that much. I don't have like darkness under my eyes and stuff. For the formula, I really like this. I really do think I could use this as foundation. Actually, we have another concealer to try. Kanebo Designing Color Liquid. This is a concealer that's pretty viral in Japan. Also award winning. I have the shade 02. This is a concealer, true concealer shade, and they also have some of other color correcting shade like peachy colors and green colors. But we are mainly here to try the formula. I think I didn't put any concealer under my eyes, right? So let's try this. And maybe as eyeshadow base as well. If you can tell, I'm trying to do a Asian beauty concealer type of video, so that's why there's so many new concealers coming. All of these first impression videos is just like a surface level review. You know, it's just a first impression, and I'm gonna try all of them more. And once I feel like I know them enough, I'm gonna do like a roundup. This is applying very nicely. I can't comment on the coverage, of course, because I don't have much to cover, but I really can't get myself seriously looking like that on the camera. Ignore that. The formula is very nice. Concealer tend to look very heavy under my eyes, but I think now you can sort of tell. It's looking very smooth and looking glowy. So many blushes. Okay, let's try the hince one because we have another hince powder, so we can just try them together. And we also have a hince little palette in the shade Sunlit Peach, and it's a very light peach shade. Okay, let's blend now just with my finger. Blending out, this look way pinkier than it initially is. Can you tell? But it does show on my skin, but it indeed is very sheer, and layering it seems to be giving, you know, my cheek a little bit more coverage. Not coverage, like pigmentation, but I do think you can't really build more than this. I imagine if I use this every day, I'm gonna use it up pretty quickly. I feel like I use lip product less than this. To set my whole face, I'm using this Hince Second Skin Airy powder in the shade beige. I kind of want to left a little bit of this glow on my cheeks, so I'm just gonna set around it. It's setting it pretty nicely. It's not looking thick as well. I was worrying that this color, like a skin color, will make the formula more heavy, because I found that like white looking powder and purple and stuff usually like a lighter weight formula than skin colored powder. This one, it doesn't feel heavy. It's like very airy, like the name. It's pretty matte. It's not glowy at all. It's just a straight up matte powder, but I think it's pretty translucent, which I like, because the purple one is a little bit too brightening because it's purple, right? And let's try this eyeshadow palette. I previously tried their bigger palette. I believe it's either 10 shades or 12 shades. And I don't hate that palette, but it's not like my absolute favorite. So I thought I would try this palette. This shade Story is more of my thing. The swatch. This is actually a very, very light swatch. I didn't put too much pressure. I just lightly swirled in the palette and applied on the back of my hand. And you can see there is some pigmentation. It's not like very, very sheer as some of the Korean eyeshadow. This one, a nudie pink mauve type of color. It's not too much color on my eyelid. Still on the sheer side, but you can see the color. Because I feel like some of the Korean eyeshadow, they might as well just put no pigment in there. The pigment, it's almost like a placebo effect. So I actually have nothing against sheer eyeshadow. I like to use sheer eyeshadow, especially the beautiful ones. But I don't like eyeshadow that's like just a vibe. There's no color. This rosy shade, this one has way more color, which is aligned with how it's looking in the palette. Pretty blendable as well. A little bit of this darkest shade on the very outer corner. Not as a eyeliner, but almost like an eyeliner. Actually, I'm surprised that I haven't spoken English in like 2 weeks and I still could speak it. Because I feel like 2 weeks speaking Chinese is making me forgetting some of my Japanese. Somehow on this side it's like putting down pretty nicely, and on this side it's just blending away. Yeah, probably just because I was using too little of a amount. I'm thinking to put down this shade first, which is a more of a pearlized finish, and then put this glitter on top. This glitter is not one of those very, very intense glitters, but it's still nice. It's there. It's like better than like just very generic eyeshadow palettes, but it's not the best that I have used. I think I would still use this palette, but again, this is not gonna be my favorite. I can't put my finger on it, probably because of the glitter. It's lacking a little bit. It's very cohesive, but with this palette, you can only do 1 or 2 looks. And that's it. That's the maximum you could do. We're gonna layer some blush on our cheeks. And I'm using this lilybyred Love Bee cheek color in the shade 05 French Marsala. It's a pretty deep coral type of shade. Oh, whoa, kind of too much. It's completely overpowering the blush underneath. And it's not looking very blended. I'm thinking maybe it's because of this brush. Maybe I need to use a different brush. Let's use this one, which is very much the opposite of the last brush, and lightly apply. But still, there is a lot of pigment. This is definitely not one of those Korean blushes that doesn't show color. This shows a lot of color. And I feel like changing the brush, it's blending pretty nicely, so I do think this is not suitable for very dense brush. And these two are the victims for our lips today. Our lips, my lips. Kiss, Japanese drugstore brand, and I think this very slim packaging is looking very chic. And this is the Lip Arrow 05. It's this rosy burgundy type of shade, and it's a satiny formula. I think they are advertising this as a matte formula. It's actually pretty matte, but it still has a tad sheen to it, so it's, for me, it's basically just a satiny lipstick. Actually, for padding, this is not like a great shape. It's too thin. The normal bullet lipstick is better for this type of application. There's nothing groundbreaking about this formula actually. It's just a normal matte formula. I was just impulse buying because of the packaging. I just thought this would be looking very nicely to carry on in my purse. I'm thinking to put this in my work touch-up bag. The Ink Glasting Lip Gloss line, and this is from the brand Peripera. I love their lip gloss formula, and I believe this is a plumper. It's a very big doe foot applicator to not making a mess every time I'm taking it out, like pretty carefully. And it has a lot of shimmer. I don't know if you can tell. In the tube it just looks pink, but on the lips you can see the purple and the pink as well. It's looking very cute, and I can't feel anything yet. Oh, it's coming. It's not the cooling type, it's the spicy type, reminding me of that one, Vanilla Coal, the one that's super spicy and plumping. Almost 5 minutes later, it's still spicy, and I feel like it's visibly plumping my lips. It looks like sausages right now, which is how I felt when I was using the Vanilla Coal one. Different than that, this is not making the skin around my lips pink. You can see a little, tiny little bit on the like cubist bowl, but other than that, it's not really as flared as the Vanilla Coal one I was talking about. So if you can bear with a lip plumper that's this spicy, I think this would be a better choice than the other one, because I don't think people actually want the actual skin flared up and looking red. I think nobody wants that. Maybe it's because I wasn't applying it like over the lip line, which I don't think I applied that over my lip line for the last one as well. I don't know, but in conclusion, I think I do like this, but I just am not a big fan of super spicy lip plumpers. I like the cooling ones better. The effect is pretty nice. I have no lip lines right now. It looks very plumped. I would love to have my lips look like this all the time. That's all. Do I even do a roundup? Maybe let's do that. Foundation, I don't want to say too much. I still like this because, you know, I already tried it and I already like it. But the shade, it initially looks a little bit too light for me, but now I feel like it's blending pretty nicely with my neck. It oxidized a little bit, and the formula is just making your skin the most hydrated, smooth, and glowy. And it's like a light coverage foundation, and it's very serum-y and liquidy. So if you like that sort of foundation, I think you will like this. This little dual palette is very creamy and it's very easy to blend, and it's not looking heavy. I can't say about the coverage because I don't have that much to cover, but for me, I think among most of the concealers I tried recently, I like this formula a lot better than some other concealer palettes because I like creamy ones rather than the like hard ones. This little concealer from the brand Kanebo is pretty nice as well. No wonder why Japanese people love this. It's very creamy and it doesn't look heavy. It's easy to blend as well. So yeah, it's a great choice. I don't know if this is a product that I would recommend for everyone because their shade range is pretty bad. I think there's only 2 skin-like shade, and this is the darkest shade. Or the darker shade because there's only 2. But the formula is very nice. This powder I have already tried before. It's a pretty solid powder. I just found that to set your skin very solid, like actually setting your skin, you have to use a little bit more of this powder than some of the other ones. I can't put my finger on the difference, like, you know, what's causing this difference, but I think the ones that's closer to the HD powder type of formula, you generally need less to set your face completely. And this type of powder where it's not the HD powder type is close to a powder foundation but without the coverage. This type of formula you need way more product if you want to set your skin completely. I see my foundation migrating here when I am applying the powder blush because I probably didn't use enough of the powder here. And this side didn't do that because maybe because I applied enough. So keep that in mind. The blush, you can't even see it right now. But I think for bare skin or almost bare skin type of makeup, like a very natural makeup, this could be good. But I wish I can get a shade darker because this is in the set, so I didn't got to choose the color. I think the formula is very typical, you know, liquid, very glowy type of sheer blush. They all feel semi like this, but because of the shade, it's feeling like a little bit less pigmented than the other ones. So if you like very pigmented blush, this one might not be for you. But if you really like the very glowy skin and very natural blush, I think you might like this. It's an okay eyeshadow. It's not bad. It's a medium pigmentation, you know, light to medium buildable. Maximum you can build it is like a medium coverage type of eyeshadow palette. Among K-beauty brands, I think this is on the more pigmented side. But if we think about eyeshadow globally, I think this is on the sheerer side. The glitter is not very intense. It's a daily basis type of glitter. Maybe let's apply this as a highlight. I think it's intended to be that way because this is a larger space. The highlight is very nice. It's looking very natural. Yeah, I like this highlight actually. It's a great powder highlight that's not looking powdery. So if I'm gonna rate this palette, I'm gonna rate it like 6.5 out of 10 or 7 if I consider this as a highlight as well, the highlight shade. Blush, it's a pretty typical matte blush. The color is very nice, but considering this is a K-beauty blush, this is way more pigmented than I thought. It's like very, very pigmented. Even, you know, taking off some of the extra stuff, extra product on the back of my hand, it still is very, very pigmented, so be careful. But I don't hate this shade. I actually liked how the shade looks against my skin. Lipstick, as I said, is nothing groundbreaking. It's like a satiny lipstick. This is just the impulse buy for the very sleek packaging. You know, it looks like kind of like cigarette. I don't smoke, but I do like the look of this, and I'm gonna take this to work. Lip plumper from Peripera. Now it's calming down. It's not as spicy as it was, which I think it's taking 10 minutes till this point. It's a good lip plumper. It's just, are you willing to take this pain? And that's all I have to say for today. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.